Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillahi amma ba'd. Alhamdulillah, we have the honor and the pleasure of being with our beloved Ustaz, Muhammad Hijab. Jazakallah khair for your time, Ustaz.
No, thank you so much.
And we especially came to see here the Sapiens brothers, Muhammad Hijab Bhai especially, with regard to our project regarding Khatmun Nabuwa and to invite the Ahmadi or the Qadiani community to back to Islam, Alhamdulillah. And Alhamdulillah, this 1 year of live streamings, a lot has happened.
Yeah.
Now the community has been educated. People know that what are their arguments, what are our arguments, and how weak their arguments are,
Absolutely.
Alhamdulillah, and how the case of Islam is strong. Now, Brother Muhammad Hijab actually he had a message especially for the Ahmadiyya community that look, the case of Islam is very simple. Khatam al-Nabiyyin is not that difficult to understand, Sheikh. Sheikh, if you want to give a message to the Ahmadi youth, especially the Qadiani youth, that how they should understand this whole discussion between two communities.
I would say, look, I mean, we said that there's about 15 million of them on the planet,
As
right?
they claim.
As they claim, about 15 million. So there's less quote unquote Ahmadis in the world than there are people living in Cairo.
Yeah.
You know, for example, but that doesn't mean they're on the truth or in the falsehood. But that's a small community, but a community which we care about nonetheless, and a community which knows what the Quran is because it's part of their religion to understand what the Quran is. They understand what Hadith is, and what I would just say to the community on a genuine level, on a sincere level, is that putting all the arguments aside for now, really ask yourself the question: reading the Quran and reading the Sunnah, do you really believe, do you actually sincerely believe, whereby you would actually put your life on this, that the Quran and Sunnah are directing us to this individual, Ghulam Ahmad, okay, this individual, that the Quran that was revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that the Sunnah, which is his words, and the Sahaba who lived with him, that this collective of people are directing us to a man called Ghulam Ahmad in the 20th century, who had links with whoever he had links with, not going into too many details, and who lived whatever kind of life he lived. Do you really believe that? Honestly, if you're an academic, okay, putting aside, religious debates and stuff, is that a natural and ordinary conclusion that you would actually reach? Or is it the fact? Okay, not making any arguments here. Is it the fact that really what you've been born into and what you are used to and what your family got you used to and the social consequences, you see, of leaving that, I'm not going to call it a cult, I'm going to call it framework. Leaving that framework. Yeah. I'm not going to call it anything. That's really the reason what's making you decide to stay where you are. It's not academic reasons, it's not a pursuit of truth, but it's in fact the social and psychological consequences. Be honest with yourself for a second and answer that question. If the answer is, actually, to be honest, Muhammad, it really is the social and psychological consequences, I don't know how my father will have a connection, relationship with me afterwards. I don't know how my mother would have a connection, relationship with me afterwards. I don't know how this, that, or the other. These are the main reasons why I'm staying. It's not because of the intellectual reasons or the arguments from these Molvis or whatever, I don't know what they call them in the Ahmadi community. If that's what you're saying, then you're not living by the truth, and the issue is not actually an issue of religion. The issue is an issue of principle. If you want to live your entire life compromising the truth for social conveniences, then that would say a lot about your personality, about your character, about your manhood, even if you're a man, about your integrity if you're a woman. I would say to you that you have to think about this again, because there's a huge community there, not of 15 million, but of 2 billion. 2 billion people, 2,000 million people waiting for you to be part of their family. You've heard the arguments before on both sides. I've made some small arguments here and there.
Yeah.
You've made some very extensive and elaborative arguments, which inshallah when you come back to Sapiens, you'll teach us and do more of that stuff.
Inshallah.
But you've heard the arguments all before. Now it's about the psychological element. And if you're willing to make that leap, I can guarantee you there's nothing better than the pursuit of truth.
Allahu Akbar.
That's the message I have to send.
And Sheikh, sometime, just one last thing before we finish.
Yeah, of course.
Sheikh, sometimes people ask me that can you summarize Ahmadiyya in 2 minutes?
Yeah.
I said, let me tell you one thing. Mirza Ghulam Qadiani said, literally on academic level, he said that prophethood was continued, but there was not a single human being before me who knew this. It was a secret.
Yeah.
When my time came, God revealed this secret to me, and now I am the one who's telling you the prophethood was actually continued.
Really?
People thought it has finished, and I am the prophet, and guess what? And that's it. After me, no prophet. Number one. Number two, second secret now. He said that Isa alayhi salam died, but not a single human being knew this. Allah hid this from all humanity until my time came, and God has told me now that Mirza, Isa actually died. And then, interesting thing, third thing, Sheikh, he said that there was someone else to come in the likeness of Isa, but nobody knew that
No.
until my time came and
his
God
time.
told me. So basically, Sheikh, Ahmadiyya on academic level is basically these three secrets. Prophethood was continued, but nobody knew that.
Except for him.
Isa has died, yes, but nobody knew that. Somebody has to be Isa, nobody knew that.
Nobody knew.
As an academic, Sheikh, how will you take this argument?
Well, I would say that I would ask them, and as ordinary people, how do you take this argument? I mean, how feasible is this? And if the religion is meant to be universal for everyone, okay, so how universal is the religion? And what use, if this is the case, what use is there to make arguments that Khatam means this and Khatim means that and Aqib means this
Yes.
and
Ya Isa inni mutawaffika,
yeah,
etc.
what's the point of all these arguments? Because it was meant to be a secret anyways.
Yes.
So if it was meant to be the ordinary reading of the text, then all of these secrets and stuff like that, it's not meant to be clear.
Yeah.
So the point I'm making is, let's be really honest about this. You guys can decide. We're not here to tell you how to think and how the logic. And you guys are clever people. The Ahmadi community have, for the most part, educated people.
Yes, very well educated.
They're educated. You can make your own decisions, but I think the conclusions are clear.